All right, real quickly, what I want to talk to you about is three reasons why judging creates our own personal identity. There's nothing wrong with assessing something and creating a judgment out of it. But the type of judgment that I'm talking about is the one that creates, it evaluates with an opinion and a preference of yourself. It's you projecting yourself or your disapproval in someone else. And we all have done it, right? We all walk in a room, look at somebody, and automatically start judging the person. Why? Because of our own insecurities, maybe. So, how does judgment create your identity? Because we tend to project our flaws into somebody else. And I'm not saying people are not flaws. The opposite of judgment is compassion. When you have compassion and empathy for somebody, right? But what usually happens when we're judging? Number one, we actually create fear of judgment ourselves. So the more people we judge, the more insecure we become. The more people we judge, the more lack of confidence we have. And the lack of success we have too, because we tend to hold back. Imagine that you're successful. Your subconscious mind calls you to go, well, wait a minute, you're going to be also judged the same way you've judged. That's why judgment really does creates us to shrink back, creates us to be not that we want. And then there's another thing. Judgment breaks boundaries as well. When you're judging people or you're afraid of being judged, you tend to go, well, I don't want people to look at me as quote unquote too nice or too rude or whatever it is. So you either tend to be rude or be a doormat. So that's another thing about judgment, what it does. And another thing, judgment does mirror our character defects. What we don't like about ourselves, we tend to project it on other people. I know for me, the minute I judge someone is the minute that I stop looking at myself. I stop looking at my character defects, and nobody has room to kind of shift the way I view. They don't have room for interpretation. They don't have room for their perspective. I don't give people room when I'm in judgment mode. And when you're in judgment mode, you're definitely closed-minded. When you're closed-minded, you most likely are closed-hearted. I think the thing to do is, number one, to accept that some people, and I said this before, are not going to change. I think sometimes we judge people because we feel like, man, if only that person would have done this. This person is overweight. They should be doing this. We don't know what's going on with that person. We don't know what the emotional trauma or drama that's going on. This person is a womanizer and that person is totally going out there. And then we start to judge, but we don't know the backstory of each of those people. I'm not saying it's okay for people to hurt people, but we got to understand when you're judging, you're lacking compassion. It's a different thing than being discerning. Discerning is a little different, because you're discerning whether to know if this person is safe or not, right? Number one, again, you get to accept people for where they are, right? It doesn't mean you allow them in your life, but you accept them. You do you, I do me. Number two, it's also another solution to do this is to stop judging you. Judgment starts from self-judgment. I know when I get frustrated and I judge people for not doing things the way I think I could do, or I just, hey, you know what, I'll get it done because I could get it faster. When I get to that mindset that I'm literally judging people for their lack of competence, right? Which is in turn me judging myself. That's my level of judgment for me, my self-judgment, that in subconscious in my mind, I think I should be doing things faster. Just ask yourself, okay, when you're judging somebody about something they do, what in your life that you're not doing that you're actually harshly judging yourself the same way you're judging somebody else? And lastly, you gotta face your need to shift and change, because there's something when you're judging other people on how they're doing and what's happening and that means something inside of you is yearning for a shift. It's yearning for a change. It's easier to judge than it is for us to change. It's easier to point the finger and blame than us to change. There's three things you could look at. When you look at your character, it's kind of like looking at a mirror. You could either break the mirror because you don't like what you see, right? Because you're breaking people's face and just fighting with everybody. Number two, you could fog the mirror. You know, when you get out of the shower, you can't really see. right? You could do that. And that's confusing people. When they want to connect with you or talk to you or try to get to the heart, you're like just deflecting, right? And the last thing you could do is face that mirror, face it, and don't judge yourself harshly. Be discerning, be compassionate. And when the more you're like that, the more you will attract more compassion, the more you will attract more people around you that will actually allow you to be more present. I will do more video on being present and then being triggered and having a choice. But that's what I wanted to share with you. Well, thank you so much for watching my videos. Please do subscribe if you like the video, and please share it. And also click on the bell button there so you can be notified with any new videos that I come out with. Thank you.